The PBA $10,000 Extra Frame Challenge is live on Extra Frame, brought to you by Storm and Rotogrip. By Ebonite International. By Brunswick. And by Motive Bowling. Welcome to the World Series of Bowling 6. We are starting it with a very valuable and, well, it's an action match. Commissioner Tom Clark joining me, Jeff Goodger here in the booth, and right behind us, Tom, Chris Barnes and JT Action Jackson throwing out $5,000 each. Who's going to get the 10?
First of all, welcome to the World Series of Bowling, Jeff.
Thank you.
Another year on Extra Frame. We're kicking it off. Thanks to all the fans at home that subscribed, and we're kicking it off with a really cool event. Who's going to win? Wow, you want a prediction from me? I think you got to get odds on JT. I mean, you got one of the greatest players who ever lived, and you got a guy that made the challenge, JT Action Jackson, who a lot of people haven't seen bowl, but you've heard of him. You've definitely seen him in commercials. He's a famous guy. He's actually being fronted by Kevin Hart, one of the hottest comedians in the country. He said, "You need $5,000 to bowl a challenge match and make it cool. I'll give it to you." And so he's backing JT in this match, which is awesome. He just talked to Kevin. Kevin's in L.A. filming a movie right now. But so Chris Barnes really has the more pressure is on Chris. Both these guys put $5,000 up each, but if Chris loses, you know, there's a lot of pros up here. Up on our stage, I'm sitting near Sean Rash and Tommy Jones and Tom Doherty and all these guys who are checking out the action. And if Barnes loses, he's going to have to take a lot of ribbing.
I would think so, yes.
So he's got added pressure because he's supposed to win. But he also, you know, has the advantage being a more accomplished player. And even though it's only one game and anything can happen in one game, so he's looking at it as, you know, this is a guy that bowls. This is what he does. He bowls for money, and he's not afraid to take on anybody at any time. And he's looking at a chance to win $5,000.
Yeah, that's an interesting story about how this came about. And you were, well, you were the first phone call. Maybe you can relay the full version to our viewers.
Well, if you remember back to a couple World Series ago, we had an all-in showdown, which guys paid $5,000 each to bowl for the whole pot. 8 people entered. Actually, the first time we tried it, we did an all-in showdown like that, and Chris Barnes was the only person who entered. No one came to bowl against him. And so we went without a show. So then the next year, back here in Las Vegas at South Point, 8 people entered, and Tommy Jones ended up winning $45,000 that night, and it was an awesome night. Chris Barnes entered that, of course. Then the next year, we did it again, and only Chris Barnes entered. Nobody else entered the event. So JT called me, and he thought we were doing it again this year, and we hadn't planned one. And JT said, I'm in for $5,000. I'm ready to bowl. What time is the match? And I said, well, actually, we're not doing that, but do you really have it? Because we can put one together. And this was just a few weeks ago. And so I called the only guy that really deserved the opportunity to be the one other person we could have in this today, and that's Chris Barnes, because he has always entered these tournaments, and he's always been there. Remember the Chris Barnes challenges that we did years ago, where we'd walk into a town and he'd bowl the greatest house bowler in the area for $5,000. He's never afraid of anybody, loves to bowl for money. So he got the opportunity. It took him about 1 second for Chris to say, I'm in, and we're ready to roll. They're on the World Championship oil pattern, which is obviously the main event at the World Series of Bowling is the World Championship, so we're using that pattern.
Let's go down to Mike J, lane side. who has moved away, but we can still listen.
I think JT's the house favorite with the fans. There's a great crowd here tonight, and they want to check this thing out. A lot of curiosity and just a lot of action. Bowling is always fun. I think anybody that's tuned in is pretty pumped to see this. One game for that amount of money, and knowing that both guys put their own money up.
Yeah, and one of them paid in euros.
Yeah, Chris gave me his money today, and he paid me in an envelope full of euro dollars.
Roughly 3,900 euros against
yes.
JT's $5,000. Winner gets a little over €1,000,000.
Yeah, Chris just came back from Europe, where he was bowling on the Team USA in the Weber Cup. JT has been, today he was on fire on Facebook. I mean, he took enough ribbing from people, more than ribbing, insults from
Yes.
too many people on Facebook. So finally he kind of broke down and said, listen, you know, and I'm sure he'll talk to Mike J about those haters here when he gets interviewed. But you let him know, man, he'll bowl anybody anytime, and he's doing pretty well in life. So, you know, check yourself before you kind of mouth off about somebody else.
It's quieting
They're
down.
getting 10 minutes of practice. I think they're probably only have a couple more left.
Yeah, scheduled to begin any moment, and it's weird. We have on the other side of the house all the regional PBA 50 and the PBA W members getting ready to bowl as they are coming up right after this match.
Yeah, what a night for bowling, and it's all on Extra Frame. I mean, the PBA 50 field later on tonight that you'll see on Extra Frame, it's probably one of the best 8-man round robins you'll ever see. I mean, we're talking about Walter Ray Williams, Pete Weber, Parker Bone, Norm Duke, Emiliano Monticelli. Who else is in the field? Tom Baker. All the guys I
Harry
just mentioned
Sullins.
are in the Hall of Fame. Then you got Harry Sullins and Mike Edwards. Yep. So that is going to be incredible to watch. Then you have the winners of each region in women's in PBA women's regional competition. The regional point leader from each region, plus all the way from Japan, our women's leader in Japan. They're going to be going at it, and you've got names like Clara Guerrero and Liz Johnson, and I mean the list goes on there. Missy Parkin, Lindsay Boomershine. All right, here's Mike. Let's see. All right. This is all, you know, being. We got.
Chris Myers has won the toss, and in just a moment, Chris will be deciding who will hold the match on the left leg.
No way, Chris.
First person wins. First person gets to get
Well, Tom Clark joining me, Jeff Goodger in the booth. There's a
lot of action
on the lanes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action off the lanes as well. They're just pro bowlers with wads of cash being thrown around. I'm trying to catch some, but I'm failing.
When that number gets to what I need, 6. Give me a round.
Is gambling allowed in Nevada?
That's good. That's where it earned its name, Jeff.
Oh, okay. I'm no geographer. All right,
nice.
Going down now, I believe, to Mike J. Laneside. And maybe. Final few shots of warm-ups.
One time.
tell you, JT throws a really good backup ball.
He does.
He's obviously a lefty, but I've watched him throw his spares backup, and he actually has a pretty interesting roll on it. JT's always used interesting equipment when he bowls PBA events too. Sometimes he'll use plastic when no one else is using plastic. He loves to play outside. He's actually won a regional. We're not talking about just some kind of a joke here. This is a guy that bowls a lot of PBA events. He's got a lot of experience, not only bowling, but in front of cameras. He's not somebody that's going to get nervous, you know, and obviously you know that Chris Barnes is used to bowling in front of crowds. But I think, you know, JT's got some butterflies. He's probably excited about it, but I think in a good way. I don't think that's going to hurt him today.
Yeah, this should be a good bowling match as well as an entertaining spectacle we are all expecting.
Yeah. I think, you know, we all know that Barnes has the best, is one of the best reaction professionals that we have over the years, and he's fun to watch on TV. I mean, we haven't had a chance to watch JT, but he'd probably be the most fun that's ever been on TV because he's a professional comedian, and he knows how to make a crowd excited. It looks like he's taking this real serious right now, though. He will, but I think he'll add some entertainment to it. That'd be my guess, and I think it'd be a good move for him to act that way, maybe to try to take Chris out of his game, out of his element.
And now we go down to Mike J. laneside.
Practice bowling fans. Chris Barnes won the toss, and his decision is that JT Jackson will open this match on the left lane. JT to begin on the left lane. 30 seconds. Final shots, gentlemen. Take your last crack.
Where's JT got to start? Did they flip the coin? JT?
Yeah.
Did JT lost? The coin. We should have bet on that. Can we do it again so we bet on it?
Gentlemen, let's get a quick word with you live on Extra Frame before we begin the match. JT, Chris, step directly behind you. Let's get a word from each of you before we begin our competition. We're live on Extra Frame. Gentlemen, right this way. JT. Sure, Mr. Barnes. JT, I'll start with you. Talked about some thumb thugs today, but it's a big match, and you bring a lot of game, and you bring a lot of experience that people might not know about. How do you make it work today?
Well, you know what? I just want to let people know that, you know, I've been in the lab. The lab means that I've been bowling for a very, very long time. Just because I haven't made money in the PBA doesn't mean I don't know how to bowl. But, you know, I've beaten greats, and basically I'm not scared of anybody, man. You know, I bowl anybody right now. You know?
Thank you, JT. Chris Barnes, I've known you for the better part of 2 decades. You never, ever shrink from a challenge, and another challenge awaits you today.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what we, and a lot of us out here are the same way. That's how we grew up. That's what we like to do, and so this is one of the things that gets your adrenaline moving, and I'm glad to do it.
Gentlemen, are you ready? Let us begin the Extra Frame Challenge and start Geico PBA World Series of Bowling 6. JT Action Jackson, Chris Barnes, $10,000 to the winner. Gentlemen, good luck. Back to the booth.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Here we go. $10,000, Tom Clark. JT Action Jackson coming up first.
And I'll tell you right now, the PBA is going to kick in 1,000 to the winner, so it's going to end up being 11.
$11,000. The spinal tap of $1,000.
First ball for JT. I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see what happens. He went by, but he stayed. He didn't get the ultimate penalty that he could have gotten there, so he probably feels pretty good about that.
Mike J. Laneside now, booth side, joining us up here.
What a great way to kickstart Geico PBA World Series of Bowling 6. That man, JT Action Jackson, $5 grand taking on Chris Barnes. That is an unorthodox approach, Tom, at that spare.
The backup ball.
But it's all action.
He's on the board.
And now the consummate professional, Chris Barnes.
Takes a re-rack.
out of the gate.
Is any of the action up here on whether or not Barnes would re-rack on the first frame?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody got that.
Is that like a safety on the first play of the Super Bowl? Extra frame challenge, opening shot from Chris Barnes. Elected to start on this right lane, and he packs the pocket.
Wow, that was a lot more direct than I was expecting.
World Championship pattern.
Ball seems to hold a little bit for him right there. I think if you're JT, you have to come into this match thinking it's going to take 240 to win. I think you think that Chris Barnes is gonna throw something in the 230s at the minimum.
Oh, looked to be a pocket smash, but just a scintilla high and a 4-pin. Barnes looking to jump early with the double, and 4-pin. Extra look at the style of the future PBA Hall of Famer. Featured the Chris Barnes Challenge, Tom, a few years ago, where Chris Barnes taking on all comers in that extra frame series, and Barnes is just, he never shrinks from a challenge.
Absolutely. We were talking about that in the Open and how that's why he was the first person I called about this and the only person I was really going to call about this event this year because he deserved that opportunity because he is the guy that always shows up and he's always ready to go.
And then when you contrast that to this man, JT Action Jackson, an absolute pure personality.
Ooh.
And that is going to be trouble.
What is that?
That is a 279.
Wow. Replay. Extra look, we're calling it. That's great new addition. Wow, that was something else.
Almost a 279-10.
He's throwing back up at it.
So the first open frame in the extra frame challenge belongs to JT Action Jackson. 1 game match, 10 grand will change hands here. And you get it live on extra frame to kick off Geico PBA World Series of Bowling. Action after the open frame. Just a touch high.
Now, I think even this early in the match, the thing that he's got to keep out of his mind is, oh no, I don't want to get buried. Everybody said I was going to get destroyed. I don't want to fall too far behind and not strike and not get on the board, and it could just make it way down and make every ball even more difficult. He's got to avoid those kinds of thoughts and make a spare, first of all.
Going with the unorthodox approach, and it fails him that time.
I think those thoughts were creeping in, and I think that right now he is feeling that heat.
Full house here at South Point. PBA Challenge is coming up next. PBAW, PBA Regional, and PBAW competition. Now Barnes looking to just jump on it here early in our 1 game match for 10 grand. And he walked it off, high flush. You just, if you're a betting man, Tom, 2 opens and Barnes hammer in hand. Look at this pitch with the extra look. Perfect.
Because he's going to be the opposite now. Now his arm swing is just loosened up completely because not only did he, of course, have the advantage as the more accomplished player, now he's got just a huge lead early. Nothing crazy happened, like JT didn't start off with 3 and Chris maybe 2 8-10s or something. Nothing like that happened that could have gone through his mind as a worst case scenario. It's the best case scenario. And for him, and now he's going to be loose. And when Chris Barnes is loose, I don't know, he never misses.
Chance to double and step on his throat, and he gets it. That is what we talk about time and time again. You get the consummate PBA professional. When given an opportunity and an opponent open, Barnes steps on it with the double, and JT offers.
It's only the 4th frame, but this has got to be thought of as a must-strike situation. He got it. He got it. All right, he's not dead yet.
And you can hear the crowd behind action. They want to see a shot in the 10th to win it for 10 grand. And JT now can.
Looked like he actually moved a little right, and he got it out a little bit. It was just a nice ball. Let's see if he can do that again.
He trails by 25 here, can cut it to 15.
Best shirt in the tour. The action team. Did he get it there?
Could have cut into the Barnes lead. Still early here, 5th frame in the extra frame challenge. Mike Jakubowski with the PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark. We're live at South Point Bowling Center. We're kicking off Geico PBA World Series of Bowling 6. JT taking the unconventional route, picks up that spare. So much has been said about this man, Chris Barnes, future PBA Hall of Famer, about his performance in the clutch, Tom, and that's a misnomer. More often than not, this man succeeds in the clutch.
Well, I'll tell you, you get to watch him in the clutch more than most people because he makes so many shows, because he's so talented. And so if you get more and more opportunities to see someone, there's more opportunities to see them do either really well or not come through every single time. Most people, when they're not coming through, they're not on TV. So, you know, you kind of had to see a lot of that. Now, at the same time, I think that Chris will admit himself that sometimes in those pressure situations, he'd think a little too much. But over the last, man, I think even 5 years, that hasn't been the case. He's stepped up in the clutch and performed almost every time that I've seen.
Nice look at the Hall of Fame footwork and the Hall of Fame result there. Chris Barnes now strike spare turkey. 45 pin advantage halfway home here in the extra frame challenge, 6th frame.
Oh my.
Well, this is what it's like to bowl against a machine.
The other Honda Clarence.
Throw the other ball, baby. Tell him.
A lot of wagering back here about the total pins that both guys will score. That's where you're seeing the wagers. So, you know, for example, you know, what, 430, something like
Come on,
that.
baby.
There's another one.
Action strikes twice on the right lane. Looking for his first X on the left.
Ain't no fat lady singing yet, baby. Come on.
225 still left for JT. He's going to need every bit of that and hope for some help from Barnes as folks like Sean Rash, Dan McClellan, Tom Doherty, Ronnie Russell cheering him on. It's a who's who of the greatest bowlers in the world on the eve of the PBA World Championship, and that one wanted to come back but just didn't finish. 3-pin.
That was probably his best shot on that lane so far. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, well, when there's only one game, anything can happen, or if it's a short format tournament, anything can happen, or it's you know, we need more games to decide who's going to be the better bowler or things like that. But what I've found is no matter what, you know, no matter what limit you put on a format, the person that's a great player always comes through. Like even at the World Series tomorrow, they're going to bowl 7 games, 240 of the best players in the world for a cut. And it'll be amazing when you see the names that make that cut, because people, when they have to, when people have to perform, and the pressure's higher, and the pressure's higher when it's a shorter format, then the cream still rises to the top. You know, it's
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you give them 2 games or 6 million games.
yeah. If you put the cap before you start and tell everybody the rules, then certain people seem to figure things out faster than others. Pulled that one. But, by about an arrow.
Better than 280. You know?
He knows the number now, right? Did you tell him 202 yet? Text 205. Oh, God. on, JT. I need a double.
That was a gem.
Well, he's about 60 pins ahead, Barnes is, with only a couple frames to go. I think we know who's going to win the 11 grand. All day on the right lane for JT. JT has been an awesome PBA player. He has helped the PBA in ways that a lot of people don't even know because of his friendships with people like Kevin Hart. He's a great friend of Chris Paul's as well. You know, he has a lot of great contacts in Hollywood, and he always speaks highly of the PBA and bowling. He's worked in the media and done things. I think it was a CSI show where there was bowling as part of it, and JT was the was the action guy. Take it. So JT's got 205 off the sheet. And Chris has pretty much got that with about 8 pins here. But I think there's a lot of action on what the total is going to be, and so the crowd is as involved now as they were when they didn't know who was going to win. If you had Chris Barnes, you probably got low odds. You probably had him at about 1 to 10, but you still you're going to make some money because he's won this match and he's your winner. He's not going to.
Yeah, so we're learning right now why they have to bowl all 10 frames,
yeah,
even when it's over.
Now he's showing off, and
402 eliminated. There's 2 it. Joke him 386 out.
this is it. And Barnes reliving what he did against Kevin Hart on national television at the Chris Paul event a couple years ago. And Kevin Hart's mantra was, "Be a champion, Kevin. Be a champion, Kevin." And Chris kind of one-upped him on that, and he even got Kevin Hart to laugh, which is pretty nice.
First time Rash has ever cheered for you.
Sean Rash, a lot of money on the totals here.
Oh God!
Pulled that one.
Hit it!
What's it? Yeah, I could win. What? I need to see the. Oh no!
47 and 17 is 31.
I'm out.
EJ Taggett. Money finding money. Appreciate it. Money finding money.
So JT's gonna. Oh, that backup ball works well for him. 183 for JT. Not a terrible game on a professional condition here. He obviously took a little time to get a little warmed up. He figured out the right lane.
Right, man. Shut me out.
The winner of the Extra Frame Challenge, and he's 5,000 heavier in the pocket. Let's hear it for Chris Barnes and also JT Action Jackson. Gentlemen. JT, for someone who's never competed at the highest level of the sport, put me in your head and your heart rate and let me know truly, how does it get the blood flowing when you put yourself in a situation like this?
Well, you know, I look at this situation here as no pressure. You know, no disrespect to Chris, but you know, I've been in you know, other positions where I had to really worry, but man, I just got out here, man. I felt good, but I mean, it's obviously they shut me out. But you know, I'm gonna just let that go, you know. But always the next time. And I really appreciate Chris Barnes coming out, you know, giving me a shot, more than what some people can say, you know. But at the end of the day, don't mean that I don't know how to bowl. They just mean I gotta go on another pair.
Time with JT Action Jackson is time well spent, JT.
Yeah.
Continued success in Hollywood, and we wish you good luck in the upcoming PBA World Championship.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Chris Barnes, 5,000 heavier, And really the key to the match was the first 5 frames. JT gave you an opportunity, and as you've done so many times in your great career, you took advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, I was able to make some pretty good shots. We spent the last few days, last week I was at Team USA camp, so pretty sharp. And, you know, it turns out there's 64 lanes here. I think there's another pair right over. There's another pair right over here if we want to switch pairs. We can try that again.
Yeah, I think that's
But, yeah.
house shot.
Yeah.
Double or nothing?
Hell no, not today. Another day.
No, it's always fun, and I tell you what, this bowling action probably gets my blood going more than even some of the PBA stuff. So, you know, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the things that really gets you moving.
Well, congratulations on this Extra Frame Challenge, and we look forward to you competing in the PBA World Championship. What's the state of your game looking at all 4 patterns coming up?
The cheetah pattern, I think we've had something figured out here. We figured out something in the summer series, and we got a similar game plan this time around. Much heavier volumes this year, much more front-loaded patterns, so I think you're going to see a lot of different attacks. I guess it may end up being the same players that you've seen, but they're going to have to do it a different way than we've done it the last few, where they've really hooked a lot more. So, you know, I think the game plan's okay. The state of physical game, I'm working with Mark Baker. We're doing a lot of work. I was a little sideways a couple weeks ago, and him and Kim actually at the USBC, she helped me out a little bit, and so things are pretty good. We got our DVD out right now. The system's coming out right now, so things are looking up.
All right. Well, congratulations on this $10,000 victory, and we look forward to seeing you all week at the World Series of Bowling.
Thanks, Mike.
That's Chris Barnes, $10,000 in his pocket, $5,000 from JT, $10,000 total for Barnes, and a winner here in the very first event of Geico PBA World Series of Bowling 6. Mike J. Laneside at South Point Bowling Center. Back to the booth, Jeff Goodger and PBA Tour Commissioner